In this video, I'm going to show you how I do my foundation routine. I've already started by moisturizing and priming my face. So this is what I basically look without makeup on, except for the brows, which I just did, which you might have seen in the previous tutorial. For my skin now, I start off with my under eyes, and this might seem a little strange to some people, but I use Urban Decay Primer Potion underneath my eyes. Now, I do have the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden, which is the matte one, which has color to it. I don't use it for the color. You do not need to use a colored primer underneath your eyes. This is just the one that I happen to have. But what I do is I'll put just a little bit right underneath my eyes and just blend that in with my finger. So as much as it does help to cover a little bit of the dark circles, mostly I just use it as a primer for my regular concealer. My regular concealer looks like this. It's the Studio Finish Concealer in NW25. So just for the record, in MAC I am usually an NC15. I only use this right underneath my eyes, just because it's got a bit of an orangey tone, which does help to neutralize the color of the dark circles. And again, I'll just pat a tiny bit of this under my eyes. I do use my fingers. And I just tap to blend. Especially due to the really thick, heavy consistency of this concealer, you do want to avoid rubbing it in as much as possible, because it will tug on the skin around your eyes. As for my foundation, the actual foundation that I use changes up periodically. The last couple of weeks, maybe, I've been using a combination of two. I got this one over the summer, thinking that I was going to get really, really dark, and I wore it in a couple of videos, and I didn't realize quite how ridiculous I looked, because it was definitely too dark for me. So I've got this, and then I have this. So I use the Dream Liquid Mousse in medium, which is 2.5, and the Gosh Lift Me Up Makeup with Sepia Lift DHP and Coenzyme Q10 for normal to dry skin. And I don't know what this one's for. This one doesn't say. But yeah, so I use these two together, and I just do one pump of each. So I'll do one pump of the Gosh one, which gives you quite a bit. And then I find that the Dream Liquid Mousse, maybe it's just because my little top thing seems broken, but one pump of this seems to be significantly less. And that's all I do. I take these two and I'll just mix that together with my finger on the back of my hand. And again, I tend to apply my foundation with my fingers. I find that it is a very effective way to apply it. It helps melt it into the skin a little bit better. It's faster. And then I don't get brushes dirty, because I'm kind of bad about washing my brushes. So with that, I'll just blend it in. I generally start around the forehead. My camera chose a very inopportune moment to die, so I finished applying the foundation, and all I did was, as I said, I start blending up at the top, work it into my hairline, and then I start working my way down, and then the last thing I'll do is blend everything down into my neck. So that's the foundation on its own. I do find it feels tacky. Like, especially now, it's had a good 20 minutes to set, and it's still, I find that I prefer to set all my foundation with a powder. So depending on how I feel, I generally will set it with a brush like this, or any kind of fluffy brush. Like, I use this because it's like really soft and fluffy, but this doesn't need to be the shape. But I'll just take my brush, and I'll use either a MAC blot powder. I just use the light one, or I have the Maybelline Dream Mousse or Dream Matte powder, and I've been using that too over the summer. And I just lightly dust this all over my face. And then lastly, I like to set my under eye area separately. And what I like to do, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit, is I'll use a little bit of this. This is a Revlon Colorstay Mineral Finishing Powder. So it's just a light pink highlight. And I'll get a little bit of that on the brush. And then I'll go back into either my blot powder or the Dream Matte powder and get a little bit of those two mixed together. And then just really lightly, I like to drag this underneath. And I find that it just creates a very subtle difference, but it's just kind of a nice brightening effect underneath the eyes. And that's all I do for my foundation. So if you like what you saw, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in another video. Ciao.